Hello, and welcome to another episode of the High Council Podcast. Today, again, we have the lovable guys that are always here, or not always, but I mean for the most part, for another review. This time it is Fear Street 2, Episode 2, and Episode 3, or Movie 2, Movie 3, whatever you want to call it, review. We have done number 1, but yeah, we got the entire band back together, and if we just want to go through the line, now we got Deadpool first.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is Captain Deadpool 97 for another great episode of the High Council Podcast.
Good shit. And then we got Guy.
Hello there.
Brilliant. Just needs no more. And then, making his long-awaited return, we got your boy, Vector.
How long have we been trying to do this Fear Street podcast? Like a month?
Too long.
Way too long.
Too long. Welcome back,
Vector
Vector.
just decided to fuck off for like the past 3 fucking podcasts.
How are you, Vector?
I can't wait to get into the meat of the discussion, but I just got super caught up, but I'm really glad to be back.
Nice. And we're all happy to have you back. All right. This has been a long-awaited podcast. I mean, if anything, you've just had enough time to, watch what you're supposed to watch. You've had more than enough time to watch all the episodes. Yeah. I think now, again, like we did last time, Deadpool, you are the one that introduced us to this magnificent universe of movies. That was not how it was supposed to go. So, Deadpool, do you want to go a bit... obviously, we're going to start with the episode 2. I think taking it in order is the best way. So, do you want to kind of explain a bit of the premise of episode 2? Like, what's the dealio with episode 2 in difference to episode 1?
I don't know. I never watched. No, I'm just kidding. So, episode 2 essentially was diving deeper into the story of the kids from the first episode, figuring out everything going on with the witch, figure out how the haunting involves them. A little out of breath, guys. Sorry. But in my opinion, I think episode 2 of this 3-part movie did really well to explain all the questions that were happening in the first episode. Number 2 is definitely my favorite one out of all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, episode 2 is definitely my favorite. I could watch it just by myself, without any context or anything else, and it'd still be good.
Yeah, I'm probably on that train as well.
But essentially, you get to figure out a lot more about the story that is all 3 movies. And I think number 2 was very well put together. I think number 2 had the best kind of backstory out of all 3 of them. It left off immediately where episode 1 dropped, and I think that was really well put together. There was no like gray area or questions like what happened in between the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one. So they did really, really good on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was
it's pretty
the
good.
gorier.
I love all 3 of them. I think all 3 of them are fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it brings back, like, I watched a lot of slasher movies, especially in high school. Me and my friends would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't watch these because I might have been in high school a while, but we'd watch slasher films while we were in high school, and we had like this whole shtick about it. We would obsess over them.
Yeah.
And the first slasher movie I ever watched was Friday the 13th, Part 7, when I was younger. And then as I got older, and when I got in high school, I watched every single Friday the 13th, every single Nightmare on Elm Street, all the Screams, all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the good ones and the bad ones. Man, I'm telling you, I've seen enough horror movies to probably scare the crap out of some poor nun, even though she's not scary. But these movies feel like they're not only just homages to the old one. Like Part 1 is in 1994, so it's based more on like kind of a Scream perspective.
Yeah.
First victim gets chased, and then you think they're gonna make it, and then they die.
Yeah.
And then in Part 2 is obviously just Friday the 13th, just how based on the killer.
Yeah.
so good. Such a oh,
God, he's so. I just love how he just books it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not walking."
nope. No,
I
he's full
think-
sprinting the entire time.
Yeah,
That man is to society.
and also like you just said, Vector, that episode 2 is definitely the goriest one. It's the most bloody.
Oh.
It's the most fucking Jesus Christ. But
It's
also-
the most. To me, part 3 is like
How
the
bad
scariest one out of all of them is part 3, but like the most brutal one is part 2.
But from a pure like bloodlusty serial slasher standpoint,
Yeah.
like episode 2 fits that role. Like episode 3 has more scares to it, but episode 2 has more like of the gore factor that Friday
Yeah.
the 13th people love to see. They love to see the mass killer running around and just demolishing all of these poor kids
Yeah.
that don't stand a single chance against this monstrosity. And you really get this sense of dread that and wonder like who's gonna make it? How can they defeat this monster of a person that they have to go up against that was once their friends at like 30 minutes ago?
Like the character
butchering
of
everything.
Tommy is amazing, and
He's a
also
tank.
I actually watching the kill counts. James goes into more of a backstory on that, and what that is they filmed 1 and 3 back to back,
Yeah.
and then they went back and did 2.
and
In the third one, the actor who plays Tommy, the lady who directed it, liked how he performed and everything so well. She said, "Why are we putting a mask on you 20 minutes into to part 2? Let's just keep you undone so you can show them how good you are at this and how unmasked and stuff
Yeah.
you are. Just how
His facial
dead
expression
he looks. He looks
It is-
dead."
it is so good. This I don't know what they did. I don't know what the director did to this actor, but whatever they
It's
did,
amazing.
it was perfect. He got the look right, like the greasy hair look all in his face.
amazing.
The blood going down his body as he butchers the kids and they scream. His body
Can I
movement,
just
his body acting skills are incredible.
Very-
I loved and I felt the sense of dread that the kids felt watching him terrorize them. No chance against him.
very quickly? I was gonna do this anyways, Kylie. I was just waiting for the right moment. We've got a gifted sub here. To Guy actually from Kylie. So thank you so much for the gifted sub. It is much appreciated. The money, if we get this on the road, the money is probably going straight into your pocket again, anyways. But yeah, so but amazing. Thank you.
She said, "Love you."
Love you too, Kylie. So, but yeah, what you were saying about what you were saying about the body movement and all that, amazing. I fucking loved him. Like the actor as well. Just the way the entire movie, he just plays amazing, both when he's good and also when he is bad. And like, just absolutely amazing. The character of Tommy was amazing. And he was also kind of like, he was like a mix between all of the biggest horror characters. Like he had like he had like the power of like Jason and Michael, and then he had the speed of, I don't know, like Ghostface, because he was quick, wasn't he? And like
the speed of remake Jason.
The ruthlessness of Leatherface. Like he was just a mix between everyone, and he was absolutely amazing. It was great to watch.
That scene where he traps like the girl in like the science lab thing, and he's just flipping shit over. And I honestly didn't think that girl. I didn't think she was gonna make it, because it just seemed like a lose scenario. Like you're just trapped in this room with this monster that can't be killed. Like I couldn't imagine being in that type of situation. But the actor.
What surprised me was when they had when that fat kid was sitting in there, and he just walks up and like, they're not going to kill a kid, are they? And he just whacks him with the axe and just starts going out. I'm like, oh,
and he
fuck.
did it repeatedly. He did like 4
Yeah, he didn't just hit him once. Ding, ding, ding.
No
It was. I like that because it shows that they're not only are they showing what's the same, but they're being different. they're showing people, hey, we're homaging to all these slashers, but we're also our own thing.
Yeah.
See, you watched the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th where Jason books it. You kind of see that in this, the Nightwing Killer, as he's called.
Yeah.
I love.
And you also see like the stealthiness kind of Michael, as well as the brutalness, like Vector says, brutalness, Leatherface, and stuff like that. You have all this stuff that he is, but it still feels like it's him. It's not all these things. This is his character.
I think that now I don't know how under the radar this series is, but I would assume that it's probably pretty big. I think that he could end up being, and it might be a far big stretch, but he could end up being an iconic character. And like I'm not even gonna put it past you. Like they could definitely make a movie about him, just him, like with the Sakors and all that. But also like I think we discussed this on the first one as well, talking about like the mix between when he hits with his axe, he's got power, he's got accuracy, and speed. All three, which are three things that usually, if you got all three together, you're pretty much unstoppable in any situation. Think of fucking fighter. Think of fighter. If you hit hard, fast, and with great accuracy, you're the best ever. You're the best boxer, best whatever the fuck. And then you got a killer with an axe. It's like
now Tommy's at least 6'4".
Yeah,
and he's running fades with these four kids. Like, it's unbelievable how he is. Like, like before. Like the reason I love this one so much is because you really get the whole Friday the 13th vibe.
Yeah.
With the kids trying to make out with each other from different sides of the village. You got the campground, and then of the nighttime massacre. Like you get the full. If you've never seen Friday the 13th or any of its movies, watch this movie, and it's basically all of that combined.
Yeah,
and the best.
They went full force with it, with the drugs, the sex, the murder.
But
they went full force and did not hold back, and I respect it so much for not holding any punches with anybody.
Another thing I also love that we touched on in the first one, that this happens in the first movie, but also in the second and third, is the twists. Now you don't realize this straight away, but when you all of a sudden you realize he only kills the shady side people. Like
it starts to hint a little bit.
It starts to hint at it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't reveal straight away. He only goes for shady side. You first you go like, okay, he just killed whoever was closest to him, or whoever he met, and then all of a sudden you realize, wait, hold up, he's only killing the kids in the, I believe it was blue shirts. He's only killing the shady
what's
sides.
Her name? The blonde-headed chick said another shady sider.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name right now.
No, yeah. But like you all of a sudden realize, oh shit, it's only the shady siders. By the way, I googled it. He's 6 foot or 5'11". But I mean,
so he's not that.
he's not. I'm taller than him, but that's still pretty tall. It's still pretty tall. And you see that guy pace, like he looked like he was fucking quick as well. You see this motherfucker pacing at you? Yeah. You don't even try to run. You go, oh, god fucking dang it. You just go, fucking, wrong place, wrong time. And that's it. You just realize you're fucked.
On there too?
What was that?
Wasn't Tommy also a football player, like, for Shady Side? Or am I remembering that wrong?
I don't think so.
No, he was. He was one of, like, the jocks.
Oh, so, yeah, he probably was. Yeah, because they reused the characters.
11 kid who plays football all the time.
Yeah.
And now he's running at you full force with that act. No. I can't think of something worse than that.
And then
it's always the big football players that scare you.
Yeah, you just see on the entire motherfucker with a fucking shirt on.
Muscle.
He's big.
All muscle.
Yeah.
You can even see it like whenever his shirt's like a little ripped open. You can just see like his body build, how intimidating it is whenever he's going at you. that's not someone that you're gonna get away from.
Exactly.
No.
But also, I do love the way the character developed. Like
dude.
like your first impression, at least mine, was okay. He seems like a bit of that, like, not fuckboy isn't the right word, but you get what I mean. He's kind of like ish on that. He seems like a bit of like that type of boyfriend. But then, then you start to like him, and like, you know, with the fucking woman, the doctor, nurse, or whatever the fuck, when she attacks him, you go like, wait, what the fuck just happened? And then you start liking the character because you realize that he's not a fuckboy. He's a very nice guy. Then, you know, you see like, okay, shit, he's having a bit of issues. But he hit his head, so he might, you know, end up throwing up or whatever the fuck. Then as it keeps on going, you know, the tournament is about to start. You start loving the characters because he's nice to all the shady side kids in a very nice way. And, you know, he seems like a great guy. And then you realize that, okay, shit's a bit worse when he he falls, almost. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, there's definitely something going on here. He doesn't just have a concussion. Then they go down into the basement, and you go, oh fuck, okay.
Oh my.
And then he fucking just massacres my guy. Just goes on a fucking rampage, killing that guy. I don't remember his name.
We should dig in more into the plot, because I don't think people have seen it. So basically, the plot is that during this camp scene, you have the Sunnyvale kids and you have the Shady Side kids, and they do this camp like every year. It's called the Nightwing Camp.
Yeah.
And so what happens is it's just a regular camp day. You have what's the ginger hair girl's name again?
Ziggy.
Iggy.
And then her older sister helps run the camp too. So Ziggy's sister her boyfriend is Tommy, and so they run the camp together. But during this time, Tommy's friends are also camp counselors. You got like two druggy kids. After the incident with the nurse, they start getting very curious about why the nurse attacked him. And the nurse said because she saw Tommy's name in the rock.
Yeah.
And after that, the druggy kids start trying to like find this basement. Like they try to find the witch's house because that's what was marked down, or her cemetery or her grave. And they go there and they see Tommy's name on the wall. And so after that, it's revealed that the witch can pretty much pick whoever she wants whenever she wants. And that makes it all the more terrifying. There's no rhyme. There's no reason to her picking. She can choose anybody she wants as a host to massacre everybody for no reason. And she doesn't have just 1, 2, or 3. She has at least 30 names on that board.
Yeah.
That she can call at any time ever. So the whole plot is for Ziggy and her sister to figure out why Tommy is going crazy.
Yeah.
And Ziggy and her sister pretty much die at the end of the Nightwing Massacre.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Also,
I'd like to touch on that just a little.
Yeah.
Because you look at it like, oh, the older sister's going to die and the younger one's going to go get away. And then the milkman that says, you like candy? And just
it's like
stabs her. It's like,
they both die.
Shit.
Yeah, but also the thing that also flipped me a bit was that when I first watched it, I thought that, you know, Cindy, who was the older sister, I thought that she was going to be the woman that they were talking to, because it was like, okay, yeah, Tommy was Cindy's brother and she was the one and all that, and she was the older sister. So I thought that she was going to be, you know, the older woman. I thought she was going to be the one that survived. But then all of a sudden, it's like, no, hey, I'm Ziggy, actually. I'm not Cindy. And I was like, wait, hold up. Like that.
Wait a fucking minute.
Because in my head,
hold up, wait a minute.
In my head, it just seemed, because everything was just circling around Cindy and her dealing with shit, and it was like, I thought like, okay, well, she seems to, the little sister Ziggy, she doesn't seem to always like her bigger sister, so I was like, oh, okay, so she's probably gonna be the one to die, considering how their relationship is formed. And that is because that's how it usually goes in movies. It's the one that is acting up like Ziggy did is the one that dies. And the other one survives with a shit ton of regret or whatever the fuck. But then boom! No! They again, something that this movie series is very good at is flipping the script from any sort of stereotype. All of a sudden, well, you see Cindy die. You see Ziggy die, and you go like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, they both died? Wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, that shit threw me for a loop when they both got. I don't know how they were gonna pull that out of, but apparently Ziggy survives off of a technicality. Because what's interesting is that the sheriff from the first one is like her semi-boyfriend in the second one, and he has like this thing for her.
Yeah,
and so he brings her back to life.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna lie, like watching all the Shady Side kids and the Somerville kids make fun of Ziggy, it didn't make it all that bad for me whenever Tommy axed the absolute mess out of all of them.
No, but I mean the Shady Side kids weren't that bad, sir. If I remember correctly. Yeah, there were a bit
none of the Sunnyvale kids died, but like a bunch of the Shady Side kids.
It was only Shady Side kids because the
but still,
dumb
like,
bitch.
It's not their justice because even the Sunnyside kids were making fun of her.
Yeah, they're both definitely making fun of her, I think.
Like the girl that she gets trapped with was from Shady Side.
Yeah.
Oh, she was from Sunnyvale.
Yeah, Sunnyvale. I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Was she from Sunnyvale?
Yeah, because Ziggy and Cindy and stuff, they're from Shady Side because they die.
Yeah. But that scene where she gets like trapped in the little outhouse, and then she has to, like the girls pranked her, and like they were calling her like a whore and a witch and all that. Like they were just really rude for no reason.
When they burned her at the beginning of the movie, I was a little mad. I was like, no, that's fucked up.
So angry. I was waiting for the end of this movie. Like, I hope they get capped. I hope they get capped.
Yeah.
And
then they didn't die. And it's like,
it was like, fuck's sake, come on, kill the fucking Sunnyvale motherfuckers as well.
Come back to the Shady Side curse. Somerville doesn't have these problems because it got split. You watch it at the end of it. You watch that side, the Shady Side in Somerville. They were all one big community, but it got split in half.
Yeah.
So the witch got put on Shady Side's part of town and not on Somerville's.
Right.
So that's why the curse only is relevant to Shady Side.
Yeah. And also,
what is it that goes on to say? He says, like, what, a killer every so many years just for a little bit of pieces worth it to me or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But also, like, now we're gonna go even more into this when it comes to episode 3, obviously. But I mean, it's a full review, so we can throw it out whenever we want. And that is the entire character of Nick Good, which we talked about in episode 1. We talked about him being a character that you don't like, then you like him, and then you kind of you're a bit unsure what you think of him. Very, very confusing character, but a very good character to make like that.
But I stand him in the second one. I didn't really like him as a
in the second one, he's great.
Character and how nice he was to her.
Yeah, in the second one, obviously he's younger, and the actor that played him was really good as well, in my opinion. And you realize that he was a really nice kid when he was young, and he went through all this with Ziggy essentially. But you also later, in which I'm going to just put out there, you realize that he plays a bigger role than what you might think in episode 3, and that threw me for a massive fucking loop when I figured out what role he actually plays in this entire fucking story, which we're gonna get into, and we're probably gonna have a lot to say about it. But Jesus Christ! But the character was very interesting in the second one as well. The role that he played, he was Sunnyvale, but he wasn't a dick. He was nice. And so there are definitely redeeming factors in the character, and I really liked him in the second one. So yeah. But,
Yeah, I think Nick Good as a character was very interesting and thought out. He had a lot of like, I felt betrayed just watching the movie. I felt betrayed with how his character was.
Oh yeah,
And
number 3, I guess.
yeah, number 3.
Yeah.
It was definitely a very good way to play that character, and the irony in his name alone was just absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I thought overall as a character that was very well done, very well put together, and I was very, very happy with how they handled that. And it just, if you haven't seen these 3 movies, you need to watch them.
Yeah.
Just for him alone, it's such a good movie. Trio, it's such a good sit down and watch, binge watching them or watching them one at a time. But for the second one, like I was saying, like I think Vector was who said this, that it's a movie where you can literally sit down and watch by itself without watching number 1 or 3, just because of how good the second one was handled and how amazing they did all the characters, twists, and surprises in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the killer alone was just a very Camp Crystal Lake setting. It was very Jason. It was awesome. They handled it awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The moment when that burlap sack went over his head, and he stood up and turned around and you could see his breathing, I was like, holy fuck. I got goosebumps in that part. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, well, when you finally see him getting the bag, it was like, fucking hell.
They keep trying to find inventive ways to kill him, but you can just see every time they try and they fail, they get more and more scared of him.
Yeah.
Because basically, I forget the first way they killed him. Remind me, how was the first way that Ginny killed him?
The first.
It was in the.
She stabbed him in the heart with a knife.
Yeah.
And then decapitated with the shovel.
Yeah.
So
that didn't work.
And then just to see his neck stitch itself back together and get up, that's when you know. That's when they knew that there was no point. There's no point. You can't stop him. And honestly, that was a pretty gruesome scene by Cindy, who at this point has been the pacifistic character.
Fucking die!
Yeah.
Went all out on her former boyfriend, which was
I honestly love it.
bad.
Yeah. Which also, like, you see how much that takes of her just to go, like, just fucking die and saying that to her boyfriend that she really loved. Like, it was absolutely amazing to watch. Yeah.
Because, like, from the description of everybody, Tommy sounds like a wonderful person. And then just to get fucking turned like that and then to start murdering people. And she has to kill him twice.
I think that Tommy, in my opinion, Tommy is the most likable character in the entire series.
I would say that.
Yeah.
I think the little brother had for me in the first.
Yeah, the little brother's pretty good as well, but I would actually say that he's definitely number 2. Or number 2, but
number 2.
No, number 2. He's number 2, guys.
Meth.
Yeah, meth.
I like
English.
Yeah, English.
Meth.
So, but definitely number 2. But I think Tommy's definitely the most likable. And then, until the twist in number 3, the good in that movie was definitely up there as well. Until the twist where you realize, yeah, fuck him, which we're gonna get into later. But the good in that movie, like, he was also likable until he fucks everyone up.
Yeah, the twist.
Yeah, which by the way was a fucking amazing twist. The twist
was.
I can't praise enough. Like, the twists in this movie series with part 1, part 2, and part 3 all have amazing twists, which you don't see enough of in modern horror, I feel. But in these 3 movies, I was so pleasantly surprised to see all the twists and turns that they had, and it was just amazing because there's not some things you expect because of it being stereotypical, but there were so many things here where the stereotype never happened, the opposite happened, and that was just absolutely amazing and a really breath of fresh air. So, like, again, can't stress enough, if you haven't seen the movies, go and fucking watch the movies, guys. They're on Netflix. Go watch them. They're easily accessible. Get them. They're amazing.
It feels, if you're a teenager, especially like a younger audience, it's
boy.
made to feel like a movie you shouldn't be watching.
Yeah.
Because that's how horror movies feel when you're that age. My mother didn't care as long as I didn't turn to a psychopath. And so if you're... fuck, my train of thought just exploded. If you are looking for like a movie for more modern times, definitely watch that one. Because I think the older horror movie, like reboots, like Rob Zombies and Halloween, and the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, are really for the older people who watched the originals.
There are definitely some modern ones that are definitely made for
made to
different
be
audience,
It's more to target certain audiences.
Yeah. Like, which is something. That's one thing that, going a bit off topic, with the two newest Halloween movies, the 2018 version and the one now. I'm not going to spoil the one now because not everyone here has watched it. But they are both a brilliant example of being aimed towards the people that watched the original, but also being targeted toward younger audiences. Because the thing about the Halloween from 2018, it's a great sequel to the original. It retcons everything. It is just the first movie and then the 2018 version, which is amazing. Amazing sequel to that original. At the same time as it brings in the older audience, it also does a great job of bringing in younger audience, which then the one from this year, which is then the third movie in this run, then essentially does exactly the same thing, and it's absolutely amazing. And I think that this series as well, if it had a different, if the name or connection was a bit different, would have done exactly the same thing. It would have brought in the older audience, because when you first watch the movie, it's a clear homage to the originals. But then but you also realize, this is a breath of fresh air as well. This is something completely unique. Now, okay, some ideas are definitely reused, kind of, but it's a unique project of 3 movies that are connected and make a broad story, which I fucking love.
And what I really liked about all 3 is you start off with number 1 that we did the review on already. You start off on a time frame, right? So you start off at point A. And you watch through that, and then you realize once you get into the second one and then the third one, you realize where you started is actually point C, and then you go to point B, and then you go to point A. Mm-hmm. So I think they did really good with doing that. They went back in the past with each one, not really like time travel, but they explained what happened before the first movie and the second one. Then they explained what happened before the second one and the third one. I think that was a unique on the situation as a whole. I think that if they would have done it any differently, like started with the third one and then gone to the first one, I think it would not have worked as well.
Yeah. And also reusing the actors. Reusing the actors was definitely amazing. And especially, they didn't reuse that many in the second one, I believe, other than the specific killers. But still, like, it was amazing to when you all of a sudden you see the third movie. When you go like...
Yeah, and all these actors come back and play as each other. It was like their amazing ancestors.
Yeah, and that was brilliant. That was an idea. I haven't seen that done before. I've seen people play like their ancestors before, but not in this way. They did it in such a unique and amazing way. And it worked. Because you were like, I believe this.
The fact that they're
I know Riverdale. It's an LCW show. Riverdale
really
did that a lot.
with me.
What was that, Victor?
I was about to say, like, if you look at it, like, when I saw them, like, hold up, they're just reincarnates.
Yeah.
This is why the same story is going all over again, because the same people that got fucked up in 1666 are the same people that are getting messed up in 1994.
Yeah.
So it's history repeating itself. And I was just about to say, like, when you look at the titles and you look at the dates, think about the significance of each of the dates. In the 90s, we had Scream come out. And then 1974? That's the second one? It's in 74?
78.
Yeah, in 78. 2 years after that is when Friday the 13th comes out in 1980.
Yeah.
And then in 1666, of course, you know the 666 references. That's the devil's reference. And of course, the main villain of the antagonist of 1666 is oddly a priest.
Yeah.
So I just love these little connections that they make with each of their titles. It's very smart. It's very ingenuitive, and I just respect how much like each of these dates have significance to their plot element and to the homages that they are clearly referencing with each movie.
There are so many small things to pick out. Yeah, there's so many secretive things that you don't even think about it the first time. I mean, I would say I definitely picked up on the 666 as soon as the priest came up. I was like, okay, this has probably got a relation. But like,
I expected more out of him.
Really?
Yeah, he was. He was good for his size.
I think out of all the monsters we had, I think like the kid with the mask was definitely like the kind of it was kind of the creepiest to me.
Yeah,
and I thought,
it was
man,
definitely creepy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then the priest was there for like 12 seconds, and then they just kill him off. And it's like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. I wish they would have had like
No. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, what's happened? And then like, all the kids are fucking dead. And like, oh my god.
Brothers got
Bro, and he had them sitting in the pews.
Yeah,
they were in the pews. It was
even his own eyes were gouged out. That was just it was such an uncomfortable scene to watch.
Like
what was it he said
with dread?
What was it?
He was like they can't see evil now or something like that.
Yeah,
they can't see evil now, but I see everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Crazy demented. And the weird thing, and this is just the commentary of 1666, the main thing that started all of this bad stuff happening is because they wouldn't accept the girls being lesbians and loving each other. And I think that is so funny that they alienized her, they were evil, they were mean to her just because of the outlook that she couldn't love who she wanted to love. And it's the same girl that she's trying to save now. That's even funnier to me. The same girl she's trying to save now is the same girl she couldn't love back then. So that's why she wants her so bad. Is because she finally figured out the reincarnate is happening all over again. That's why these girls are special in 1994. And that's why they're special in 1666. It's because she's finally found her love. She's found her soulmate.
I think the best ever quote from the entire movie is just, "The truth will be your curse." Not a curse from the devil, but the truth will follow you and haunt you and your family for generations to come. And it does, because eventually good bites the fucking dust.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, it's so evil, but it's so well planned out you don't really notice.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful scene in the third one when she's being hanged.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful scene.
So disgusting to look at. And watching them.
It's like the truth. She sacrifices herself to save her lover.
Yeah.
And she's just like, the truth is going to set you free. Yeah. And it's like, oh fuck. It's just, oh my, it hurts your heart because you know what happened, but no one else does.
But another thing that also hurts with it, I feel like, is I don't remember what his name was in this, but Good.
Solomon.
You know, yes, Solomon was
Solomon Good.
Yeah, Solomon Good was another thing that really hurt. Was like the entire movie he is portrayed at. You know, no one has anything against him. He's kind of like that guy that, you know, he minds his own business.
He's like the good guy.
He's the good guy that kind of like he minds his own business and is nice to everyone really. And then, like, for example, like he breaks into the church, I believe, and you know.
Yeah, and he's the one that figures it out. And
he
kills the priest.
He portrays everything. He portrays as a very likable and a great character who just wants to help. And then all of a sudden you realize he is the motherfucker
360.
who's 360, full 360. and then you realize, oh fuck, he's the motherfucker behind everything. And like you even see, which fucking hurt when you see like a character like this, such an amazing character. You see that he has been behind the entire thing. But another thing was you also see how he doesn't want to hurt what's her
Sarah.
face?
He doesn't want to hurt Sarah. He wants.
He doesn't want to do anything
He-
mean to
the
Sarah
fact
at
that
all.
He wanted to marry her in the first place, and then as soon as he didn't get his way, like all of a sudden, like, well, I'm about to ask her off because I can't get my way. I'm like, wow, wow, you were that petty.
But
to ask
also
her off because
you-
you couldn't marry her.
you see, like, because he was like, okay, you know too much now. I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, but I don't think you can keep your mouth shut because you're in the line of fire here. So you're not gonna keep your mouth shut. So I hate to do this,
So I have to take you.
but I'll have to throw you under the bus. And you see on the entire, like, he acted that very well, but also in the way that he says and what he says is like he doesn't want to do this. He likes her. Realistically, he doesn't have anything against her. He wants her to kind of like, you know, be alive or whatever the fuck. But he knows that to keep him safe and to keep everything that he's done good, somewhat ironically, he has to do it. And he hates to do it, but he has to. And he fucking goes through with it. And again, it bites his family in the ass in later. But you know, it was amazing to see a horror villain, in a sense, who
Be compelling.
be compelling, but also, you know, he's the good guy first, then he twists into the bad guy, but he's kind of like, I don't know, like Loki. He's a villain that you still like. Now with Loki, it's because you understand the villain, but in this case, it's because you know that he doesn't really want to do it. You know that he doesn't want to hurt her and fuck everything up, but he feels like he has to for his own good and because of all these people that have done him and everyone else wrong. So he's like, fucking hell, I have to go with it. So you end up not really hating the character because he clearly doesn't want to do it, but he has to. And that is one of the things that I love about him. Again, as you said, a compelling horror villain. It was amazing to see.
It's really sad to realize that, like, if these are like based off of historical accounts, Salem was a really bad place to be in. You could get chastised for anything, and they did this to women all the time. When girls didn't get their way, they called witch trials on them. When men didn't get their way towards like the girls they wanted, they hit them with witch trials, and they just got burned to the stake. And it's just really sad to realize that this is stuff that realistically happened. Probably not for these reasons.
Yeah.
But girls got burned to the stake for just any type of reason, for any type of way.
Yeah.
Can we just take one moment? If we look at the table, I just sent a picture. And this scene, I feel like
Oh my god, I hated this
this
scene.
scene was terrible. And if we want to throw this in the podcast, just so viewers who are watching or will see it,
I'm gonna do it.
this scene alone in the movie was just gut wrenching.
Yeah, it hurt my feelings so.
Oh,
But by the
She
way,
busted out
this scene
just to
goes
get.
right to your heart.
but by the way, when you say terrible, you don't mean bad. You mean like it was just
Bro,
horrible
it's
to
so
watch.
bad. Like, it's a good bad.
It's a good bad. Like this scene. Now, if Deadpool, since you brought it up, you want to explain just quickly what this scene is, just so that people know.
Well, yeah, I would, but I want to hear Vector explain it, just because of how into it he was describing it just now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
This scene hurt my feelings so bad. Watching all the townspeople gather around her, chanting, "Burn that witch!" Oh my god. And I wanted her to make it out so bad. I wished anything in the world that she could have made it out, but there was no chance. Once they strung her up, it was over. And it just... God, I hate how manipulative these people are towards her.
Yeah.
For no reason. absolutely no reason they burned her to the stake because of one person's put her name out there for no reason. And watch how good manipulates the crowd while he's in the house. He says her name one time, like, "Oh, I saw Sarah in the woods," and now instantly, people who have never spoken to her a day in their life just make up these random stories that have never happened, and she gets strung up for no reason. Literally no reason at all, because she couldn't be herself, and she got burned to the stake and said, "Fuck this town. If I'm going down, everyone's going down with me." I can't even believe that she did the curse. If I was in her, I'd have said, "Fuck the town" too. I couldn't imagine being in her place, but getting struck for no reason like that. Honestly, I don't even want the curse. I don't even want the curse to be lifted. Burn all of them. Hell, all of them.
Another thing about that scene that led up to this is when Good mentioned her name during I think it was inside the church or the schoolhouse.
We're having why the dude turned, about why the priest was acting like this. Oh, because of Sarah, it's her fault. Retards, all of them.
But it wasn't just that. They said it was Sarah and the other girl. They were both laying with the devil.
I also,
because that guy didn't give any. Sarah's character didn't give that guy any.
But also I remember when because motherfucker Solomon, he plays on their side during this shit. But then a twist, like the twists, my guys. And like when the motherfucker that, the guy who's acting up and he didn't get any, when he all of a sudden just goes, I saw them in the woods fucking or whatever. And then
she said she saw they're flirting with the devil.
But then you go like, oh shit, okay, so he was the one in the trees. That's where you go to. You go, okay, he's the one within the trees. He is the motherfucking bad guy. But no, then you figure out later, the guy in the trees was Solomon. This motherfucker probably didn't even see them. And you go like, what the fuck just happened? Hold up, so he wasn't the one in the trees. Solomon was the one in the trees that saw them. But Solomon has been playing on their side, but all of a sudden he's the bad guy. Like the fucking twists in this, guys. Fucking hell. Like I can't get enough of like the twists.
You gotta think how long Solomon's been holding that in his head. Because you gotta think, the girls did this ritually, nightly almost, where they had even secret codes. And think about how many times he's seen Sarah do this. With he
even says earlier in the movie that he doesn't care that they lay with each other. He says something along that lines. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then he gets down. He's like, "I want to marry you," and then she rejects him. And then, "I'm just gonna break your hand off. Don't worry.
It's fine. I got it. Don't worry.
Don't worry. You're not gonna have a hand. That's okay."
I mean, again, like considering how deep everything is, I think that there's definitely more to delve into than just, okay, you don't want to marry me? Fuck you. It's like, I actually think that him offering her to marry him, I think that was kind of his way of saying, I want to keep you safe. Marry me, I'll keep you safe.
Save her, but he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So basically,
I think
he was forced to at that point.
Yeah, but because I think that it might actually be him saying, I want you by my side, and I don't want you to die. But then she rejects him, and he goes, I have no other choice, because I know that if you ain't marrying me, well, I know you're gonna fucking snitch. I know what you're gonna do, and I'm so fucking sorry for this, but in this case, this is the only way that I see this going good for both of us, somewhat ironically again, no pun intended. Like, this is the only way I see it going good. But no, I'm sorry, you rejected it. There is no other way here. You're gonna snitch. Honestly, I gotta get you.
Honestly, I don't think she would have snitched as much as I think the drunk would have snitched on her first. Because the drunk was the main... I forget what that dude's name was. He's like the town drunk. He actively loved her first.
It was Tommy. It was
the guy who played Tommy.
It was the guy who played Tommy.
Yeah. At some point or another, Sarah was going to get snitched on. It was going to happen.
But
whether the town drunk, her mother, the girl's mother, on her for acting weird, or it was going to be Solomon. So either way, Sarah was not going to make it out of this. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think
it's Solomon that does it. That
definitely hurts. But I think that the mother, I think that I'm not sure what her role would have been within the entire town or village, because I'm not sure if she had gone out and said, my daughter and the other's daughter, they're fucking. I'm not sure if everyone would have jumped on that train straight away. With the drunk, with the drunk, I'm not sure if he actually knew what he thought he knew. I don't think
lesbians back then, they were that was an abomination. You were killed on sight.
Yeah. But I'm saying that I'm not sure what the mother. Well, okay, for one, she doesn't. This might sound dumb, but she quote unquote doesn't know. She has an extreme suspicion, and she's definitely landed on they're doing it.
Just even suspecting that you were doing like that got you axed off immediately.
But also,
doesn't matter.
Now, because I think that the dad was obviously very respected at first.
At first
he was. So I think that because of what the dad did, that's why I'm not sure what they would have thought if the mother just came out. Because I think that if the mother had come out, because obviously there's a clear fucking dumbass hive mind thing within the village, but I definitely think, considering the way that they twist and turn in their the way they think, I think that because of what her husband did, I think that as soon as she says, "Oh no, but you know my daughter and this other girl, they're lesbians," I think they would have gone, okay, she might be trying to switch the blame because my husband has just been taken for all this shit. They might have hopped on that conclusion that she is lying. I don't know, but I'm reaching a bit here, but I'm trying to figure out other ways here.
Considering that people were not very educated, and the minute that any hype about anything, they immediately jump on it because all these people are God-fearing people, and the moment you get any sort of like sin or anything, you gotta die. Like you have to, because that's what drunk. 2 minutes before that church got like messed up, he was just preaching in the streets.
Yeah.
Before the church got messed up,
but
he's like, "Oh, you're sinful. You're all bad. I know everything all of you have done."
Exactly.
So that type of blackmail that you hold on people.
But also, this is because what you said about God-fearing is obviously a big deal here. But this is also the reason why I think the hive mind might have turned on the mom in this situation. And that is, well, obviously her husband has just been, well, he's done what he's done, hasn't he?
They would probably made her a witch. She's a witch
they
too.
might think that because their closest character to God, their priest, the character that is supposed to be there, like the middle piece between them and God, has just committed what he has done. They must think, okay,
awesome.
Yeah. So they must probably then think, okay, well, if he's doing that shit, the fuck is his wife doing? They might both just be going from Satan's heavens at this point. Well, so I think that because of the priest's role, because they're so God-fearing, his wife, they might have actually turned on the wife as well if she tried to switch the blame.
If you look at this, if you dissect this scene very closely in the church house, you can get this feel that it's sort of going to that motion because they're like, why is Chris acting like this? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And also these very shifty eyes, and then the mother and all of her friends like, ooh, shoot, what's going on? And then Solomon at that point has to speak up and say, well, it's Sarah. It's all her fault.
Yeah.
So
and y'all on just a little bit longer, the mother and her friend, the mother and her daughter would have got axed instead.
Yeah, probably.
So you mentioned a hive mind, and I wanted to just get y'all's opinion on this. I don't know if it was just me or if it was every viewer who watched it. I felt like the whole community of the village was very culty from the beginning.
Yeah.
They had a weird connection to each other that was just, it was fucking creepy. And then, like, if you look at the the cinematography for the actual village scenes, even during the daytime, everything is super like dark and kind of muggy,
Yeah.
and it has
Look
like
at
this
all
weird
the way their
like
houses are built.
fog to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like their architecture houses are all like dark wooded. Like there's no color anywhere.
Yeah.
No,
The-
it's
the-
weird.
The only
woods
people
on
that
the
seemed
outside
normal were the young ones.
Talk to has
Yeah,
more
they
history
built
than
that whole thing. They built that whole village. Like that's not just anything. They built that whole village.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
see, they transferred that whole village transferred from another tribe, and they cut off from each other because the wife of the town said, "Oh, I have a good feeling about this place. It's gonna be fantastic. I promise." She did the whole Donald Trump spiel on them, and they were all stupid
Yeah.
and fell for it.
She wouldn't like Han Solo.
No, she at all.
But
I would like to move on to the finale that goes back to 1994. I want to start with the holy fuck that was the. I love that they were nonchalant. That guy who was in the jail cell in the first one, they just pull up and they're like, "Hey,
yeah.
we'll go kill Sheriff Good." Yeah, let me go get my jacket.
He's like,
Me fucking
yeah.
too. Alright, whatever.
Like,
yeah, dude.
oh, it was
Yeah.
Jesus. Like, okay, so just to go, because obviously this is something that I would say I've shown a passion for, especially the character of Good. I fucking love him. So, the guy who, if you remember from the first podcast, the guy who is essentially a criminal, he,
Janitor.
yeah, he's like a janitor, but you know he's been taken for some
For the mall.
certain things, essentially he, you know, everyone bands together because they find out that okay, Good is the bad guy. He's been doing this for fucking ages. Or his family has been doing this, and that's you all of a sudden realize that the Good family are
It's
the
not
ones that
good.
have been doing this all the time. They're not good. So from Solomon and I guess onwards, I don't remember if he was the first one. I don't think he was. I don't
Solomon
remember.
was-
I don't remember, but I think he was. But so essentially, ever since Good in '66 or Solomon in '66, because I think it was the first one. Ever since that, the Good family name, every single one has been taught by their father. This is what we do, and this is how we do it, and this is how this shit fucking goes. So you realize all of a sudden that he's the fucking bad guy. Good, the guy who you kind of have a bit of a good feel about. No pun intended again. Jesus Christ.
The good guy.
The good guy. And you realize, okay, fuck, he's the one who's been doing all this shit. You realize that, okay, so how did Ziggy survive? Well, it's because this motherfucker wanted to keep her alive, because guess what? He had a fucking crush on her. So he's like, okay, fuck it. You're not gonna die today because I love you. And then you go through all this and you realize, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do? So they get band. I was about to say they banged together. They band together. You know, you got the two girls. You got what the fuck is her name? You got
Ziggy,
yeah. You got Sarah. You got Ziggy.
Sam,
You got
and then her little brother. I can't remember his name.
yeah. So you got yeah. And you get those. Then they also bring in the janitor. So you got Josh. You got Ziggy. You got the two girls. I fucking hell.
Sam and Sarah.
Yeah, Sam and Sarah. You got
Not Sarah.
Jesus.
What is her name? Is her name Sarah? It's not Sarah. It's something else.
No, it's
Cool.
not.
I remember. Why can I not remember her name? This is so dumb.
No, but she is the one that plays Sarah. I believe her name was Sarah.
She
as well.
yeah, is the one to play. I don't think it's Sarah. Is it?
It's not Sarah.
No, okay.
I want to Google it.
I'm trying,
already-
but it just says that her name is Sarah on fucking anything. But okay, well,
Pierce Street, 1994.
but okay, so
Yeah, okay.
it still is that what's her name? No, Dina.
Dina.
Dina, that's
Dina
it.
and
So
Sarah.
you got Sam, you got Dina, and Josh. They band together with Ziggy and the fucking the
janitor.
The janitor.
The janitor.
They
That's his name.
band together to fuck up Nick Good. And you know why they want to fuck up Nick Good? Well, because they realize, okay, he is the big fucking bad. So, they band together.
I would love to talk about the plan that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was actually pretty fucking brilliant.
we
They
got-
mixed her blood. They mixed Dina's blood with
No,
glow in the dark paint.
Sam's blood. Because
Was it Sam's blood?
Yeah, because, okay, so guys, in the first movie...
No, it was Dina's because
No,
she cut her own hand and put it in the bucket, and then they mixed it with the glow in the dark paint. It was Dina's.
Yeah.
Because he swapped targets
No, but what was it?
because he was going after her because she knows the truth.
But Sam's the one that they're after because she touched the bones. So it's
No,
Sam.
Right. Remember?
But Dina found the actual gravesite and went back and figured out the truth once she put the hand with him, and so he swapped targets to go after Dina because she knew the truth and she was going to try and stop it. And so Sam's already possessed; he doesn't need her anymore. And so that's what they do. She cutting her hand and putting the blood in the bucket with the glow in the dark,
No,
and then
because
the whole blue light stuff
what
was amazing. Flair,
Sure.
did you not watch the movies?
I did, but it's just not clicking in my
Both
mind.
Deadpool and Vector agreed with me, and you're still just in no mode.
No, I'm not in no mode. I'm not sure mode. But okay. But anyways, so
Real quick,
whichever one it is,
before we talk about that, I stumbled across this. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes for Fear Street 1666, and it is about the movie as a whole. It's a what is this? A review. Someone has posted on here, and I kind of agree with it, especially with the ending. And y'all are gonna hate me for this, but someone posted the final film feels flat. Even the final plot twist left me feeling bored.
Yeah.
I was bored.
I could.
I had a great time.
I don't. It didn't have the final plot twist. Didn't have me bored. I really enjoyed the final plot twist.
I mean, all the monsters fight each other at the very end. It's like,
Yeah,
big guy, that guy got stabbed. Well, that guy's just big dude in the gas mask, which I wanted to see more of him. The big black dude in the gas mask. I wanted to see more of him. That guy looked cool. See, I think in the kill count for Dead Meat, he talks about like they might have future plans with Netflix to make like either a mini series with all these different killers.
They should definitely.
They have to.
Yeah.
I would love to see like the milkman, the daughter that killed everybody, and then the gas mask and the kid, and I'd love to see it.
What's up, Air?
Remember, there was 30 names on that board.
Yeah, there were so many names.
There's so many things to explore.
And this is all from 1666
Yeah,
to
all the way up.
1974.
They could all, even then, they could go into modern day because at the very end of the movie, someone grabs the book off screen, so they could really go into modern day, make their own like episodes of it.
Yeah, like the entire plan of trapping the killers was really amazing. By the way, like as we just talked about, with mixing the blood with the paint. And then also when they poured that on good to make the motherfucking monsters.
That was smart.
That was fucking genius.
Smart. That was smart.
When
they literally carried his ass.
Ziggy just fucking takes a bucket of all the fucking paint blood and just like gets it on good. So all of a sudden all the fucking monsters just go against him.
So, ew.
But also spraying the monsters so that they went at each other. Like, they were fucking smart. And you usually don't see people being smart in horror movies. But in this
I think the last time someone set traps was Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Terrible thing where everyone is retarded. Yeah. Everyone in basically any horror movie is stupid. So it is such a relief where we have thoughtful characters who actually think about what they're going to do, and
logically
not just be
as well.
Rest that trips and falls on a flat piece of dirt. I hate seeing that shit. It makes me upset. I like seeing thoughtful characters actually use their brains to defeat the evil that they're going up against. And not some stupid MacGuffin,
Yeah.
because I don't like MacGuffins.
So real quick, one thing that I did just see is we were talking about a TV show potentially that features all the killers. So on here I'm reading, this is on ScreenRant.com. Says Netflix hasn't announced any official plans for Fear Street Part 4. However, all 3 movies were made with some kind of continuation in mind. Fear Street Part 3 post-credit scene, which I did not see, teases more nightmares to come in the future. Speaking to Den of Geek, Lee Janiak said that the movie trilogy was set up to potentially be the beginning of a larger Fear Street universe.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, and I'd be very interested to see. Imagine if we got like haunted houses of this thing. Like, could you imagine someone like massacre dude running at you at like a glass door and hitting it? That would scare the shit out of me. Or singing the singing girl with the razor blade.
Yeah, that would be
Honestly,
awesome.
She's my favorite out of all the killers.
She was also really good. I think all the killers that you actually see,
they're really
they're really good, really terrifying, and all really good.
I want to. The gas mask guy intrigues me the most. I want to know what.
Oh yeah, but also like because
the
we
gas mask
saw
and
the
kid
least
with the
of it.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the little kid with the baseball bat was cool too.
Like because we see those guys the least, and we know the least about them. We only heard a quick snippet of it. That's one of the things that intrigues me is because we don't know enough about them. So seeing them would be amazing, and I definitely think that a series you can even use the killers that we have seen, and just have them massacre a bit more. That would be amazing in and of itself, but. Like, I think that there's definitely somewhere to go with all these killers. Easily. And especially with the television or TV series.
I
Definitely
can't
a good, successful series.
Yeah.
with, like, that I'm really excited for. Just how many variations of the slasher genre can you come up with?
Yeah.
Like, what areas are on the rise that we don't know anything about? That's what I'm interested in seeing.
But also, I think that this is definitely a good series to branch out with that, because like you see that all the killers that you see within the movies, they're all very unique.
Yeah.
So you go like, okay, well, how many? I don't remember. Like we see like 7, I think, throughout all 3 movies. We see like 7 or 8, and there's supposed to be 30 names. Now I don't remember specifically, but like there's less than 10, right? And there's supposed to be more than 30 names.
We have the ghost. We have the Nightwing Massacre. We have the Singing Lady. We have the kid with the baseball bat.
Gas mask.
Who else? Gas mask.
Dude camp.
There
was one more.
Tommy.
The
no.
Milkman.
The Milkman.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. All right. But so considering like it, again, like it's less than 10. But then remember, there are 30 names, I believe,
or more,
or more. That like you can make at least 2 seasons easily, exploring so many different, because it's definitely got to be within this still be in the slasher genre, and then you got 30 unique characters that you can make into every episode be a unique way of exploring the slasher genre with unique characters that are all a bit supernatural, but also, the story is very normal, but like there's so much to explore with it that I absolutely love, and they definitely should go through with it, and we will have to review
Every single story is going to have to end in tragedy because of all these characters we see.
Which I fucking love.
They don't go entirely with the slasher genre. Like, think of it like an Exorcist type of deal where she still possesses a body, but then they get like supernatural powers.
Yeah.
To boot with it. Like, they can still go that route and it's still believable, because basically at this point the witch is OP and she doesn't have any rules or regulations to go by.
That's true.
She does what she wants.
Yeah.
So
but
basically they can make any killer that they want.
Yeah.
Based on the foundations of the witch's powers and what she can do, which at this point is anything.
Yeah. And I would love to see more of Tommy anyways, so
I do.
I think be a good plan of action as a TV show, even if it's something like you do one killer per season or two per season, one per episode.
Yeah, it would be
You
great.
And they released it weekly. Oh my god, that would have
I'm getting
Like,
excited,
dude,
guys.
just released on Fear Street. Like, could you
Yeah,
talking about that?
money as well. Oh,
Oh my god, you're just giving them so many ideas. I hope they
Yeah.
see this.
watch this podcast.
What's the podcast?
yeah,
Any-
So
Anyone-
what's the concluding subject, guys?
I
As
think-
my phone slowly dies.
yeah. I would say, from my perspective, like we can go through everyone just to do it quickly. From my perspective, one of the and you might not agree, I don't know, but one of the greatest movie trilogies I've ever seen. Usually trilogies
Well, your
don't have
horror trilogies.
no, but
Yeah,
like because the thing is, there's so many trilogies that one movie flops. Here,
Yeah.
Kill-
all three movies, in my opinion, are great. Now, the third one you can say is still good. I don't think anyone here disagrees that the third one is good.
is the weakest out of the three.
It's the weakest, but it's not weak, I would say.
It's not
I think-
weak.
Two's my favorite. Three's the weakest link, and then one's pretty good.
Yeah,
But they're all good. But
No.
three is just my least
Yeah.
favorite out of them.
but like because
Absolutely.
usually at least one of the movies in a trilogy flops. Like if we were just saying greatest movies of all time, I wouldn't even it's not even close. But when it comes to just a trilogy where I enjoy all three movies, it's very rare to see. And when I say one of the greatest, I'm talking. Don't worry, I'm not saying top 5 because it's definitely not top 5, but it is definitely something to have in the discussion. When you're talking about good trilogies where you can watch every single movie, this is definitely up there for me. Which you might
So
disagree with, but that's
Deadpool-
my opinion.
Introduced us to this series. So a huge thank you to you, Deadpool, for introducing us to this
Thank you so
entire
much.
trilogy.
How much I
And
needed
Yeah.
you brought it up.
and as you brought us into the series and to doing the review on the podcast, I think it's only fair that Deadpool takes us
Yeah.
out of the podcast.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll start off by saying, as a whole, it's an amazing series. I think individually they're all really great. The third one, like I said earlier, I felt like was a little flat, but it still works. It still works as an individual movie and as a closeout for a sequel. I think the director did amazing. I think the cast did amazing. It's definitely something that even if you're not into horror movies, is something you should check out because it's suspenseful and it keeps you going the whole time. But
It's a good Halloween movie.
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome just to put this recommendation, and I just threw it in to say, hey, like we should check it out at the very least. And it's something that we all four absolutely loved,
It's
and I think that
spread.
Yeah.
it did. And I'm sorry to the viewers that it took so long for us to do part 2 and 3. Some people are a little difficult to get onto the podcast for. Vector.
I'm sorry.
Not naming any names, Vector.
We have different schedules and time zones, so we got good enough excuses for the time being.
All right. We'll close
Yeah.
by saying this, but I'm going to say share our podcast,
Yeah.
or I'm going to
Share.
send the milkman after you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
singing lady after you if you don't share.
I'm gonna send Tommy after you because I think that he's probably the one that's gonna fuck you up the most. So subscribe if you're on YouTube, like the video, follow on SoundCloud and like on SoundCloud, and follow Twitch.
Yes.
Do it.
Now, close it out, Deadpool. Fully close it out.
Please.
I do want to say it was awesome doing these reviews for these 3 movies. Like I said before, they were awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening.
Mhm.
I hope that if you hated this, watch those movies and experience it for yourself, and I guarantee you,
Mhm.
you will learn absolutely that we are spitting facts right now. It is
Yeah.
something you need to watch.
Mhm.
But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the follow, whatever you can do, whatever you think you should do.
Mhm.
Anything helps us. We want to grow this so that everyone can get a piece of the nerd action and horror action that we
Piece of
bring
this
to the
ass.
table. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode of the High Council podcast.
Goodbye.
Bye.